Oh, we're live. Am I? I don't know. Okay, so sorry. I don't know what, like, I had my music on, and this is like my second time on, so it like crossed over to here. Anyway, hello everyone. Those future or presentish viewers. I gotta practice not being nervous on a live energy read. So anytime you receive this is when you're due to receive it. So I figured I'd just wing it, and I've been meaning to do a wax reading on my last abundance candle that burned all the way through, and it's on this I don't want to call it a device, but it's a candle holder that I meant to get to cut cords because the last one went really crazy, but it showed me how much power I have within formal rituals. And anyway, I can talk about that later, but welcome. Oh, hi, thank you. So if you guys have any questions or comments, this is like my first time running through this, and I put my glasses so I could catch any questions there might be. So this is just an energy reading, and it's been a little difficult in capturing this only because it's give me a second, it's almost abstract, and I have to be very careful because the bell obviously moves, and as you can see, oh, you can't see yet, it's connected. Do you see it now? Okay, so right there. There are a few pieces that dripped off of it, and it's a little complex in its read, but I noticed that I figured that if I am able to view it on the screen, I get other interpretations or other messages because the view is different when you see it one-to-one in person versus on the screen. Don't know why that is, but maybe others who do divination will be able to vouch for that as well. Anyway, there were two pieces that broke off of it, and I'll go ahead and show you later. But while I kind of let this settle in, I'm going to go ahead and do a card read because it's just about like my second year since I started my channel. So I thought I'd go ahead and pull out the same deck. I think it's Roots and Wings Tarot. There's a couple of cards still missing from that, but I want to go ahead and just start again because on that first reading I did use this deck, and then my 1 year anniversary I reread the same cards and did another pull, and then so my second year is approaching, I think April 4th, is that right? Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and do one because also the new moon is coming up, and I thought, these are my anniversary cards, and spring is due. So while I let this settle in, we'll go ahead and read some cards. Okay. Let me clear the air first, though. I hope you are well. I'm feeling really, I don't know if lost is the word for it, but there's some anxiousness and a lot going on. So, there's just a lot of unknowns, and there's more feel-good vibes associated with them, with all parts available on there. Okay, anyway, there's more good vibes associated with it than usual, since this these unknowns are due to some changes that are triggering the process, and it's a lengthy process. And meanwhile, you hear everybody's voices through the ethers and through your common locality. And I think that's just something I talk about that's common to many, whatever your situation is, that if there's a lot of things heard through the grapevine, people just, it can cause a lot of distraction. And that's the best way that I can put it, within whatever's in my control. I try not to let it get the best of me, but you have your initial feelings that trigger you to think more or less of it. So anyway, these decisions have been well thought out, and like I said, many unknowns. So when there's changes, there's always new life associated with it, right? New beginnings. So, and either way, whenever you let go of something or start something new, there's blessings on both sides. There's blessings on a 360 scale. So what is that? Mother. So you received this before, and I think it was part of that second read, my 1 year anniversary thing. And hi. Yeah, it depicted the nurturing of the building process and the alignment of that idea of like the Three of Pentacles here. So you have the Two of Pentacles, which is balancing act, and then the Ace of Pentacles, which is investment in, like, divine investment in creativity, new beginnings, wealth, new opportunities. It's like the golden ticket, and you can't build something when your investments are separated. So you invest in your alignment and you invest in your projects, those new beginnings, but that has to be cohesive. That has to be all built into the three. It's hard for me to show you this without the visuals of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but hopefully you get all of this and that it makes sense for you. But it's the encompassing effect of that. The overview of that. Not just the overview, but like the eagle eye view of it. So we have that, the first card that came out. And, like, back to here, the only message that I received from this was kind of linked to my other candle wax read, which showed like warring, cosmic warring. And I know not a lot of people are into those kind of things, and I'm not like major into conspiracy theories, or I'm not super into that, but I understand the idea of the intimacy and the intricacies of what is it? Of the microcosm, and if that can happen on such a molecular level, understanding other life forms, then why wouldn't it be able to like expand further, magnify further? So that's where I'm going with this. So let me just see here. Okay. So here, so I don't know if you can see right here. Okay. Here, we have that same alien, and there's, I don't know if you can see past the comments or like the people on here, but anyway, it's here also, but it's like kneeling on the ground, and there's a lot of blood. So, and I just noticed, because this happened like, I don't know, a week ago that I burned this, and it took me a while to see anything further, and it was difficult, and usually I'm very, very good at these things, but it showed like a tear on its eye, and something that it's holding, whether it's like leaning on a cane or whatever, but I don't know what it is, because I didn't get the idea that the alien was, a threat, to me anyway. when I got that communication, I asked for cosmic support, and that's the message that I received about the cosmic warring. But they were very nice to me. They wanted the message delivered. So it's just weird that I see the elongated head, and then I can't say that it's in what do you call it? In like forfeiting, or it's been defeated. But there's certainly a sense of defeat, especially with now, like today I'm noticing, well, just like a few minutes ago, that there was like a tear on its eye, like coming down from its eye. So there's sadness. And from what I understand through other spiritualists, from what they've told me, the ones that are very well developed and mature within their practice, responsible, is that I can see across all timelines. I can see the reality of the past, present, and definitely the future, that I can prophesize events. Sorry, I heard something. Prophesize future events. And, through my peers, they've said that everything I've said has come true. And, I don't doubt those things, but it's so new to me. Like I said, I've been doing this for, 2 years, maybe a month or two more. But, I can't doubt the signs that I'm receiving. So there's, like with any big war, there is bloodshed, major bloodshed, and sadness. So whoever wins, whoever you could call the winner from, of it, I just don't get a sense of victory here. Do you see what I'm saying? When I did that last reading, it was shown to me that if we don't fix things here and now within our locality, that it does magnify. Like, the ripple effect is so much more pronounced because there's so many evils in this world. That it's almost immediate. And when I got that message, it was like I felt like, for the most part, I don't want to call it doomed, but it kind of is. There's so much chaos in this world, and I don't even stay up to date with everything that's going on, but because there's so much trash out there, and manipulation, it's getting really crazy, and it's been out of hand for a long time. But it's like we're going to face major warring, because there are a lot of people resistant to anything but what they already know. And so that's what I get here. Now, like I told you, this is from my abundance candle. You know what? I really feel like I need to get my cord to charge. Give me a second. Oh, never mind. I forget. I have one like really, really close to here. Yay! We don't get to get interrupted. Maybe on 10%, I'll go ahead and charge it. Anyway, here. So, yeah, I told, one of those people, the one that is the most practiced and has direct connect to many, many sources, that I really feel like people have made their bed, as a collective, and that we're due to face the warring aspect. And it's hard for me to say these things, because it's really sad, because I the things that I say are manifested into existence, like almost immediate. It's so I don't want to give any energy to that, but I have to say something. Otherwise, my peers are not going to get the message, and they disseminate also the message to others, to their own crowd. So anyway, that's my role. I just came to understand that my following is very, very different. So that's what I'm seeing here. Give me a second. So, of course, when we look at abundance, we look at the blessings on a 360, the things that we have to leave behind, the things that are destroyed before, something new arises from that. And so this is very good because it's promising for changes ahead that were forced into the bracket of change, where no one can escape it. Everyone is affected. Everyone. And there's major... Okay, so I'm just going to tell you like the raw part of it first, okay? So the warring aspect, there's a lot of bloodshed. There's no doubt about that. All species, all different kinds, okay? But it's very grounding because right by its shoulder, it's like a chip on his shoulder or her shoulder. I can't tell if this is masculine or feminine, but it looks like a chip on his shoulder, and it's an herb. So I can't tell what kind of herb it is, but what I'm saying is the chip on the shoulder, whatever burden that is grounding. That's what the herb conveys. On his right shoulder, and so we use those losses from warring as purpose to ground ourselves. Yeah. There's a lot of messages that I received from here while the candle was burning. So I filmed those. It's going to be like some kind of short film side B to this. And there was a lot more positivity involved that had, from what I recall, nothing to do with warring. I just observed it. Now, this is very strange for me because I thought I was going to have to be more, what do you call it? Fragile, like very careful with this, because the bell obviously moves, and that's part of the reason why I got this to use for cord cutting ceremonies, because the other one was freaking crazy. It blew out crystals, glass, like brand new glass votives, and the flames were crazy, like bonfire crazy, on something as small, like smaller than this. So the flames were like, it was crazy. But anyway, what I'm saying is that back to this. Okay, is that this is not moving. I thought it was gonna crack or whatever, but it's not. So there's some kind of, it's suspense, but it's also the feeling of feeling suspended in time. That, what is that? What is the symbolism of when, the bell tolls? I know it's like ceremonious, like where you gather people, but it could also be like the beginning of some kind of like church or wedding bells or something like that. So, oh hi. So there's some kind of stillness in this. And, oh, okay, I see a hummingbird. Huh. Okay, so with this warring, okay, in the back, I just noticed this. It looks like, I don't know if you could see it. I'm going to be very careful still, even though it feels like it's chill. But it looks like a hummingbird right here. So I thought that was great. That's great because, you know, hummingbirds are like a joyful sign of hope. And, you know, I'd have to look at the meaning of that spirit totem. Maybe I can look it up here real quick if you have some time. Oh, God, help. Okay. Let's see. Hummingbird. Just briefly. Okay. Nope. Nope. Okay. Tireless joy and nectar of life. The cycle of power is daytime. The hummingbird may be the smallest of birds, but it also is the most fascinating. Anyone who has ever seen this tiny bird is filled with a sense of wonder and joy. Its name comes from the vibration of its wings as it flies or hovers. We have all heard how good it is to... Okay, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot over here. I'll take a picture for you. That's a lot. Okay, I just wanted to get a little, like, subtitle on there. That's a lot. I'm going to bookmark it for later. Oh, by the way, look, I made this out of pelican feathers. I made this when I was depressed one day, and I was collecting ish at the beach, and my ancestors always helped me collect stuff there. I forgot to post one from this past weekend. I'll have to tell you about it then, but it was kind of morbid, and I've been seeing a lot of things regarding death lately, but it has to do with my upcoming role, and it has to do with the reality of everything, that you have to, at some point, you have to know when to let things go. No matter how sad death is, with whatever species you go, with whatever history you hold behind it, whatever, what do you call it? If there's history, like bad blood behind it, whatever it is, death is still very sad. So anyway, that was this past weekend. I'll have to share that when I have a moment. Anyway, I collected the 6 pelican feathers, and this reminded me of the 6 of swords, and anyway, use that for smudging. So, I'm going to bookmark this. Okay. I don't want that to fall. No. Okay. Well, you caught me in the middle of spring cleaning, and new moon is coming, April 1st. So I don't know if I'm going to do my personal stuff before I even do this whole thing. So here we are. And thanks for joining. Okay, so the other thing about this is that even though I saw by surprise how wonderful, we saw a hummingbird behind it, it's almost like it crashed into the bell. So that tells me, and there's also blood coming from that. Do you see that? Okay. Yeah. So even though you can hear the bell tolling, it's not to its most magnified frequency. So there are a few joys within this warring, but it's not... There's a lot of sadness to follow. And a lot of people will not know how to cope. They won't. Based on how things are going now, the resistance to deal with losses in a healthy manner is very telling. What do they say? Like, they say that you can judge a man's character best when they're, like, at a loss, when they're sad when they're depressed, or, when they're at their all-time low. It's very, very true. And that's why I have to say goodbye to certain things, certain people, even new ones. Like, I don't want to overshare with you just because it's like, okay, let me just share this part with you, okay? Because it's part of my teachings too. So when you're doing better and doing stellar, and you're balanced, right? You're getting to this area of this sweet spot of wealth, and you're like, you got ish under control. That's when you see more people come your way, including the people that did you wrong, regardless of however long they've known you, or whether you call them acquaintance or best, or, family, whatever the case may be. If they did you wrong multiple times and turned you away, it's very telling when they come back only when you're doing better. And a lot of people already know this, but I don't go out very often. I don't know all of that stuff. Like, when it comes to socialization, I not only am I an introvert, but I don't like the way society in general socializes. I'm not into, a lot of the same things. I'm not into, like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, when it comes to small talk and the topics of conversation and networking and all that stuff, like, it's just gross to me. It doesn't make any sense. I don't feel any kind of bond whatsoever. So let me stop complaining, okay? Why don't you guys stop me? Okay. So, back to here. Yeah. There's, yeah, so I have to say goodbye to a lot of people, long timers and newbies. And, when you get to a place, I'm assuming that you're here because you're understanding the energies as well, or you're being introduced to them, and not just by me, but on your own accord. So it's like, at this point, you just have to rely on the messages you receive on your own, whatever you're called to. I find it very difficult to pry myself out of the grapevine sometimes. My peers and my I don't like to call them underlings, but the psychics that follow my lead. Because you never know what everybody else's agendas are. And I find that women tend to be a lot more deceitful because it's been a very male-dominated world, and so it pins women against women naturally. And so that's what I'm saying. The trend that I'm seeing is that women are a lot more deceitful to me than males. Like, at least if males are being deceitful, it's quite upfront, and at this point in my life, I'm able to call it out, and it's kind of, I don't want to call it humorous, but I'm able to be upfront with that truth. And it's weird the way guys operate. Like, but anyway, I can describe all that stuff later. I just know that there ends to be some sort of like a mutual respect and understanding, because they're not used to that sense of directness to whatever their game is. So anyway, have to say goodbye, and it's not always sad. I guess I've dealt with it enough, and I've practiced it enough. I guess it's just life experience, isn't it? Because I used to be really sad about it. and now I'm not really shocked. But yeah, I have to be a lot more careful about my peers, especially if they're female. And that sucks as a reality. But, you know, things change over time. I just know at this point, and you might understand this, that, you know, you just have to go with your internal compass. Now I have to go ahead and charge. Excuse me. Where are you? Okay, how do I do this? Give me a second. Oh, shoot. What was that attached to? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay. Right now, I'm working on all kinds of activities that you might see some mess back there. I don't know. Okay. Is it charging? Yay! We are doing it. We're doing the thing. Okay. So, I didn't expect this to be a little, solemn and morbid, but it's the truth. And when you get down to it, when it comes to other spiritualists, and you do like the whole pick a card reading, and they do the whole inflatable ego trick where they tell you what you want to hear, and that's how they take advantage of you guys. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, loosh, but it's the life force within you that people feed upon. And you see that, especially when you work in corporate or small businesses. When you go through those polarities, you'll see some heavy-hitting BS, and it's so cutthroat. And it's programmed that way, so that they could feed off of your life force. That's what it is when it comes down to it. It sounds stupid to many that, but I can tell you this, because I reconnected with one of my ex-coworkers to help me out with some paperwork. And I know he's going to watch this, even though I blocked him. He knows what I'm talking about. In fact, the more that you practice, the more you'll be able to see the honesty and lack thereof within every single interaction. It's great. I love it. Because you don't need to be upfront with how much you know. You just see how far people go with their lies. And anyway, what was I saying to that? He played dumb with me. And, there are a lot of telltale signs that I can do a video on later. Maybe somebody else will do. I don't really, whatever. But I can do one of those. I started jotting down a list because of people who've let me down. I gave them a chance. Many chances. And they threw them all away. So, that's why saying goodbye is so important. And eventually it doesn't become sad anymore. You just have to face the truth. The pretty part and the ugly. And that's where we come to the aspect of warning. That because there's so much damage and chaos done here, there's hope. By the degree of damage that is done, that's implied within this, and the stillness, like I said, the more that I work with this, or lift it, the less fragile I realize it is. So I think there's, with that stillness and the hard knocks, boring, that, sorry, I just got a little distracted here. That thickens your skin. That when you move with the flow of things, that also means the stillness. So like with 9/11, how everything was put on pause for a long time, for a good while, at least a decade. This is the same kind of foretelling. In fact, it just reminded me, like before, when earlier when I was talking to you, that it creates this callousness, this thick skin, with each interaction, like a New Yorker. You see a lot of things, and at a certain point, it doesn't faze you when people are yelling in the background. So I wouldn't call it a sense of jadedness. I would just say that you're able to take a lot more and resist a lot more. So you're not reactive. You are able to tell it like it is. That's because that's a new reality because of this aftermath. You know, if you follow those conspiracy theory things, I've only gotten a bit into it. But it's... They have like shows on this now, like series, TV series or Netflix series or whatever, and it's like aliens are involved with the warring aspect, that they aren't the enemy really. Some stories say that they are, but whenever I read into any cosmic support, I feel energy. I know energy. I'm able to determine it with people that I just meet across the street. Very, very weird to me, but that's how I know. With whatever I'm receiving from them, it's not... The ones that come in contact with me aren't bad. They have good intentions. I don't know what else to tell you. But it's almost like I see a humanized view of them, especially with what I'm seeing here. Yeah, okay, so there's this loose piece on the top of the bell. It looks like a mustache to me. What is that song? It's by No Effects. Is it Mustache Power? I'll have to look at that. I don't really listen to them anymore, because they used to be fun when I was in high school, but coming into energy quite a bit, I realize what's good for you and what's not good for you. So I don't listen to them anymore, because I know. 100% without doubt. So that's as much as I'll say to that at this time. But is it NIMBY? It's one of their older songs. Yeah. And so in working with... I know I'm going like off on a tangent here, but it's true. Hollywood does have... And I'm not just saying... I'm speaking in general. That there's a lot of disgusting features, satanic features of Hollywood. And those are things I'm meant to see, because I need to know before I interact more on a different crowd. And it's super, super important, because I will have to interact with them. I'm due to interact with them. And I'm not to discriminate. I'm not not to discriminate, but I have to hold my boundaries. So this may mean the same thing for you, because I don't intend to really talk about myself or the junk in my trunk, because that's not part of my message. I just feel like I have to share that with you, because, you know, they're just people too, but some of them sit on high horses and pedestals and whatever, but there's a political feature to that. Yeah, a very, very big one. So I see this in this. I see like a T-Rex dinosaur also. And I don't know. It's, oh my gosh, sorry. I'm a little burpy because I had pizza. I haven't had pizza in a long time. But yeah, it looks like a friendly version of T-Rex. One that you can't really take seriously. And, you know, that's the fact of corporate. That, you know, they may look intimidating, but they're packaged with this, like, glossy smile to make you think that they're friendly. And they're not. They're not. They never, ever, ever, ever are. They never are. Never. Yep. They come from all different walks of life, but they're not the same. They're not who they say they are. So, anyway, you probably already know that, but some people won't. Like, yeah. Okay, so there's that. Let's go do some cards, because I don't see anything else here. But I must tell you that there's promise of new beginning here. Major developments, and that doesn't come without time. So our energy reserves must be also allotted to not just the impact that we have to vote for change in the right direction. It's going to take a lot of energy, and a lot of investment, but also like the calm after to take a moment of stillness to integrate plans for the change. Yeah, that's so crazy to me. I thought that's why I felt like so triggered to do this, because I thought it was gonna break on me at one point, especially with the change in heat. So, do I want to take pictures? Do I want to talk about these things? Give me a second. What was it? I can't really remember when these things fell off. But anyway, what I do remember at the very end was when the flame was lit towards the end, the wick looked like a phoenix coming out, almost like Tremors. So it was very abrupt and a little scary, like a snake coming out from the ground. But it was a phoenix. So it's emerging when you least expect it. And it's towards the end of destruction. Complete, when it was towards the end. And it's a sign of the times, because when I thought that was already extinguished, because the smoke was already rising, there's about an inch after, there's an inch after it's completely done, and it was still lit on the inside. It was a hidden light. Yeah. Okay, so let's draw some more cards. Mind you, this is an energy read, but obviously some things needed to be said. And this is not meant to cause, what do you call it? Paranoia. But it's a call out. Because, okay, I have to tell you. Last night, or late this morning, because I had a long night. Late this morning, I woke up from a dream with witches. And, so there was a total of 4 witches, including myself. And we were just doing I was just doing something domestic with, one of my friends. And it was just I don't know, having a cup of coffee or something like that. But then I was visited by 2 other witches that I don't even know if they know each other. But one was, okay, I can't tell too much detail because it might be a dead giveaway within my, psychic community. But they had some kind of conflict with me. I don't know what it is. There was some kind of misunderstanding. But the only reason they were nice to me was because their pets liked me. That was so weird to me. But it dawned on me that greater forces are being super manipulative to the point that they're causing internal conflict. They're using our conflict, our common conflicts, to turn us against each other. And you see this in this type of control, in any community that experiences this type of lacking. So you turn one culture against each other because you say that this is an enemy, or you say that this is how do I say it? It's economic manipulation. It's weird, but when it comes down to you don't it never dawned on me to realize that psychics could be manipulated, pinned against each other. And it wasn't until I heard a story, sitting down with a group of friends, and one of them worked in a medical community, and they said that doctors do that against nurses, or female doctors against female doctors, but the ones in the higher part of it, they pin them against each other, so that there's warring and competition, and it's because they can, because they're bored or whatever. What is this? Blossom. Huh. That's kind of weird to me. Okay, so this reminds me of another deck, okay? Because I'm this is too obvious of a message. It feels too clean cut. I don't know what it has to do with, this candle read, but we'll find out, okay? So it came to me in reversal, and I'm trying to figure out what, okay, bloom where you're planted, or does that mean that we're really not grounded enough to, do that? But it reminded me of another deck where it's excuse me, where it was the Hanged Man. It is the Hanged Man. So we've got the Hanged Man energy, which is taking a different perspective, being a little aloof from your situation to be able to see it in a different way. And when I started this out, I told you about my situation, and having to take a look at it from a different perspective. Now, if you've seen some of my other readings regarding the Hanged Man, it's gosh, there's so much detail to it. Like, it's okay if you haven't. It's no big deal. But it's hard for me to regurgitate the way it was said, because it added a fresh perspective to comprehending the value of the Hanged Man energy. And it was quite personal because that's basically how I deal with it. Yeah. So anyway, so it's not like textbook version, but this is the Hangman energy. And so in that deck, the Hangman was like this, and it was a little crazy because it felt like it was somebody who committed suicide, right? So it's like the ending, and then here's the beginning, like new life from it. So it's like it's the sacrifice of a certain part of self in order to start anew. So I'm not glorifying suicide. It first looked like that, and then I remembered that because you see feet here like hanging, it doesn't always mean that. It could be like somebody's doing like pull-ups, chin-ups, right? So they're exercising their perspective in a different way, getting the blood flowing in a non-traditional way to ground themselves so that they can see a little bit better, in clarity. But this is telling me this is the Hangman in the more textbook version, because the Hangman is literally upside down. And because of that, this reminds me also of the Ten of Pentacles energy. I know that there's more than 10 here, but it's like in that message, I know it's one of my more recent readings where Spirit's like making it rain. Okay, that was the reference. And so in gaining that fresh perspective and like kind of standing apart, but also being part of your situation, yeah, because it's like when you're in hangman position, it's like people see what you're going through. They see that you're kind of staying aloof for a certain reason, because it's like being crucified, but like upside down. So when you put yourself in that position to gain perspective, it's almost like a public setting, but you don't give an inch about what other people have to say about it. It's something that you have to do. And regardless of how well known you are or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's something that we have to go through in life. So because you're able to do that, because we're able to do that and find the balance, you see the two pentacles are chained here, that there's many blessings to follow. That even the alignment, the balancing act, the retaining of it, and the maintaining of it at chakra level, like stability, that's value in itself. That's abundance in itself. And for you to see that and like kind of encase that, embody that, it's like all this other stuff is to come. A lot. A whole realm of opportunities. You know, like in Alice in Wonderland, I think it was, where the flowers would be personified like large. Is it Alice in Wonderland? Anyway, the flowers would talk. So it reminded me of that looking at this, because it kind of looks like Cheerios, right? Or Fruit Loops, but it reminded me more like flowers have energy, right? And so it's like the flowers are going like, ooh, ooh, ah, you know? So, yeah, part of the abundance is life. It's not just like the wealth of like monetary value, which it definitely is. It's definitely there, because the background, it's like when you stand in a crowd, like a whole, like a large audience, like some of it gets blurred out the farther that you go out. And so you see green further out. It's like blurred out, right? So that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. So that's what's headed for us. Is there anything else, angels, that you want to convey? I'm shocked that you're still here. I mean, I believe in myself. Yes, I do. But at the same time, like, I don't know who's got the time. Oh wait, I wanted to hop, so let's do that. Okay. Mystery. Hey, that was part of the last live reading, but it came in reverse. It has the full moon in the background as well as the waxing and the waning. So, let me see here. Huh. Okay. So as a tree of life on the boat, I think it was my first reading. Yeah. So it was the first time I read this card. My very first reading, goodness gracious, publicly done. And then my 1-year anniversary where I retold or whatever, we had the same boat, and then it had a rainbow, a sign of hope. So I didn't realize, because I've never pulled this card before, that it's the same boat. And I think that was at night too. So it was kind of strange to see a rainbow within that. Anyway, this is the tree of life because it shows the branching out as well as the roots below. So it's branching out, and communication as above, so below. And the growth process is like an evergreen. It's constant. That's interesting. The mysteries are unfolding because it was in reversal. Huh. So there's darkness to this, only because the type of tree it is. It's almost like swamp-like, like a weeping willow. But it's quiet darkness, so that maybe has something to do with this wax reed. But the full moon indicates change, like the action part of it. Because that's when you charge your crystals or your ritual items. It helps you manifest more. So, one thing about this is that, I mean, if this was like an orchid, I could totally understand that it'll grow. That's how it survives, the roots showing. But most trees don't do that without any roots planted into some kind of base soil and water, like nutrients. So obviously this implies that there's some holes in the boat. And it doesn't mean... Okay, so what this means is that, like, it may feel that when we're encountered with darkness, that we may not feel like we have the appropriate resources to go into that Six of Swords energy, like a quiet time, like a hiatus on a boat, just like chilling out, calmer waters, just like leave me alone for a second, okay? I need to get my head together, just shh, like your energy, just shh. I need to like just like drift off for a second. So if you don't feel like you have that resource, my angels are telling us that we do have that available, because the knowledge that we have is a resource in itself. So you're able to create like solutions to like plug the holes in the boat or whatever we have available, whatever resource seems wonky or out of order, or whatever that main resource is, like commonly known to man. We can fix that in order to gain greater perspectives. Like, the knowledge that we have is good enough to get us started and going, and that will help us develop. It'll help us grow once we like drift off into that. And this is a whole cycle. This is depicting a whole cycle. This is a portal in itself. And knowing, making the decision. Yeah. It's, you're, okay, so I'm going to be real with you on this. So when you're doing this, there's sadness depicted here. Do you see this? It's like a tribal face, right? So you're just doing this like there's a slight smile, but overall it's kind of sad if you see the eyes hidden in there. But that's like, you know, your third eye right there. If we were to think like if we are, because we only comprehend ourselves for the most part as a microcosm, but if you expand that out into the universe and feel what that life is like in totality, regardless of where you stand, that's the overall kind of view of it, that the moon is revealing in its mystery. It has its own truths. And even though it's not as bright as the sun, it still has a glow, and it's still very telling of what creatures are like in the dark, including yourself. So, your shadow behaves a little differently. But I feel like your shadows are a lot more tame because there's a sense of overall familiarity with the tone of everything else. Like, everything else has a shadow casted over it. So your shadow is not, your shadow is more at ease. So you can understand it better. Yes. Okay. So I guess this is a matter of perspectives. Like your personal set. And is there anything else? Spirit, angels, is there anything else that I need to take away on this? Okay, so that was reverse. Excuse me. Oh, it was in reverse. So it also reminded me of the BFG. Is it the BFG? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that or heard or read it in a long time. But it's a children's book, obviously, by Roald Dahl. And it reminded me of the dreams captured in jars. I'm pretty sure it's that. Anyway, dreams captured within jars. So, whatever it is that we're going through, we're going to get through it. And it's like a time capsule, like a memory stored. And it's a positive one. You're going to be able to look back at it, and you're going to be able to laugh at it, because what I see here is one of the branches looks like it's flipping us off. Like, might be telling some to F off, which I'm doing as well. You know, some nicely, some not so nicely, but you know, the truth is delivered how it's fit. Excuse me. Okay, is there anything else, angels, from this that you want to convey? Okay, there's a few here. Okay, yeah, okay, so we got, so there's seasons. Excuse me. And then this, like, plot onto here, which, yay, we got that on the boat again. So passage, what is it? So guarded, yeah. Passage, grounded and bound in reversal. Okay. Let's see. Are these the final four? Okay. So we have the Hamsa here with the protection of the eye. All-seeing eye. Oh, hearing seasons. Okay. Let's take a look. What does it all mean? It means, okay, we have 4 of Wands here. You know, what is the word for it? Framing this area of growth on the inside. It's like, yeah, seasons of change. Wind, yeah. Yeah, I have to go through seasons of this. But okay, growth, okay, that's kind of given. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so I guess, because I'm kind of jaded with like the whole traditional, like, you know, you're growing, you have to work through your shadows, you know, the generic view of what many spiritualists say. But I know what I'm going through, and it's massive change. It is change like I've never seen before. And it is, there are notable things that I've had to go through. And it's like, even though these things are exciting and I'm seeing lots of blessings come through, as well as many more to follow, there's a serious aspect of it, like the whole warring aspect. It's like they're grooming you to what you're going to have to face in the future. Like, they don't gift you these things without there being a purpose to using these gifts. So, massive growth. And it means that we're already in flow. And not to resist it. Like, don't be that one where you're like, okay, that's good enough change for me. We can stop now. No, it doesn't stop. It's ongoing. So guarded. Protect your energy. Okay. Protect your energy. Not just from others, but from yourself. Okay? So you see these little droplets here. Okay? And you understand the ripple effect. So it's knowing every single thing that we do, no matter how small it seems to us, it causes a ripple effect, and it's massive, as like I said, right? So it's guarding yourself from the energies that come your way, as well as, you know, what your impact is like. Like you have a massive impact. Like it's like what do you call it? When you disturb the water so much, it can cause a tidal wave, destruction, death, unnecessary death. Yeah. So that's important. That's to hold responsibility to that. Yeah, because it's opening up doors. So there's hope here. Yeah. So that's the light within. And you get to see from different spectrums. So, okay. I think back to the BFG mentioning here is that it reminded me of like a jar, but what it had in each jar, I believe, if I can recall this, yes, it's been like 3 decades, but they held dreams, didn't they? They held dreams. And when you think about dreams, I don't know about you, but there's some things that shift a lot in dreams. Like, I could be at one place at one time, and then with the same characters, and then I'll exit a building and it's another place in my life, or there's things that shift. And so it's telling me, like, you know, things are being unveiled and revealed. Okay. But that's not without the lies as well. Because when you see the moon card in Major Arcana, the traditional like tarot deck, you know, the moon card is like mysteries, right, to unfold. But when it's in reversal, it speaks of also the more pronounced version of it, which also includes the lies. So you're seeing things in totality, but more so the lies up front. Okay, but like I said, you know, there's hope. You know, it's turning things, you know, right side up again. But that's, you know, this is necessary. So yeah, the dreams, you know, how they transition. And from what I recall the visualization was like there were little specks within those jars that held dreams. Gosh, it's, yeah. So, is it row, row, row your boat, life is but a dream? Yeah, something like that. Okay, so, this is turning, like, okay, so you're, we're getting more, like, higher knowledge. It's not just higher knowledge, but ancient knowledge, you know, when we're going through this. And so that transforms into new hopes. This allows us to shine brighter. Like once we're able to digest the truth and not like on a scale that other people see it, like when you can go within and assess it for yourself, connects you with divine power. And so your inner light is brighter in all spectrums. Like you become this crystal, like a prism that reflects all of these hues. So it means that your chakras are aligned and you are able to be a great hope for others, because when you see a rainbow, it's not like you're the only one that sees it, especially if it's, you know, outdoors. Many people see that cities away. And so it's a light for others. It's massive because it's like a waterfall here. You see that? Do you see how like blurred out like a massive waterfall would depict? Yeah. And you can't get that without introspection. Because you see this as like a portal, and then this is also, I'm just seeing here now, that it's like a portal too. That light within, like being able to emanate that light body, that light force, while you're, you know, going off to calmer waters, you're able to take a look at yourself. So this is introspection, because this ties into that, you know, that last read that I did, that, you know, where they had, oh, I wasn't reading, it was the last post that I did with the candles on there, the black and the white candle. It was, I think, ceremony. Anyway, this is the black candle, this is the yin, this is receptive sight, so this is introspection, this is divine receipt, as above, so below. You're grounding that light. And so it looks like, you know, a candle. Do you see, right? So there's little bits of action that we can take, but for the most part, we are able to project this force, like be a source of hope for others. The more that we are able to see ourselves as like the portal of answers, unlimited answers and potential, like undisturbed by everybody else's like stuff, even if you're inspired by them, like that's their inspiration. Like you have your own, you are gifted with many things that do the same for others. Like you're on that level, you're capable of that, if you don't already see that. Because I'm, you know, I get a lot of answers, but at the same time, like, people make me question, and I allow people to make me question, you know, these certain things. So what else came through? These two, but they came in reversal. Okay. Grounded and bound. So that looks like that. Huh. So it gives me the same, like, the same vibe as the hangman energy. So without looking at the words, intuitively speaking, we have the hanged man energy there. Do you see that? And then here we have the same thing. So this definitely is a portal, and it's necessary. Whatever varying degrees of BS that we encounter, we're meant to be challenged on a 360 so that we get the full flavor of our blessings, current and to follow, because this is like the egg based on that last live reading in reversal, that we get to see the value of the underworld. That it's almost like a parachute. When we embrace it, like in meditation, like hangman, where are you? When we see that, like in hangman view, it's like we're embracing all of it. So it's like a parachute. Like you may feel like you're falling, but truth be told, the fact that you're embracing all of this, it saves you. Interesting. Okay, so 5 of Swords. So this is a hidden 5 of Swords in reversal in warring, where it feels like, you come out winning, like the battles in the war, but there's a real sense of, how do I say it? It doesn't feel like you came out winning, even though technically you did win. So that's, since it's in reversal, it's saying that, is it that we're letting go of it? Oh, okay. So this, I feel like, I'm going to tell you what I thought of first, because usually that's the strongest message of all. So 5 of Swords, okay, to release that conflict is like, we're not going there. We're like, it's a more pronounced version of the 5 of Wands, where everybody's on level ground warring, but with sticks. But then, like in Minecraft, where you elevate from that base level of, wooden stick to a sword, things get more serious. And so, the 5 of Wands to the 5 of Swords is that elevation of conflict, but blood is shed. And so we're not going there. Or we're trying not to go there mentally, okay? Because it starts from like that core level. But when you relate it to that candle reading, that primary message that I got was that there's going to be a truce, that there's going to be so much bloodshed, like so much destroyed on both sides, or on all sides, because there's varying degrees or varying views, and therefore, because you have different stances, people are sometimes in and then out, or fully in or fully out. There's just different responses and reactions that people have to war. So when you look at all those sides, it's not just him against her, it's multiple sides, in conflict. And so, what? Oh yeah, the truce. Okay, so, yeah, I think people are going to feel it at a core level. They're going to see destruction, and they're going to comprehend it within their own terms, to the point of calling truce, because without that, it's just going to continue, and there's going to be nothing left. Yeah. Is there anything else? What is that Middle Earth? I don't know what. It's like a safe spot at the core. That's kind of like a myth, but it's like, you know how I talked about that underworld, seeing how light can be found? It would be the third pile that you'd have to go to. But you see, it's not just embracing all of it. It's when you look at the same coloring, it's the hands are networked. It's within this core. It's the in-between. It's ever growing. So it's being rooted in your sense of home on the core level. We're not looking at the external of it, like when we're digging our hands deep into something. We're more engrossed on a more intimate way. Like we're connected when we're fully invested in it, like truly in. So the truce, though, I like the idea of calling truce, because when so many people are involved, or so many species, so many different life forms are involved in the act of war, it's inevitable that it's going to be ongoing, because it's like somebody doesn't come out happy. But when you level the playing field where everyone feels the same sense of loss, it's like they see a common, like, they see the value in not proceeding with it. So it's like the warring will stop. Do you understand? Like, conflict will still happen and we'll still address it, but we won't have the same kind of warring anymore. Like, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Yeah, I got the chills on that one. That's good. That's good. But like I said, I got to face reality, because there's going to be, how do I say it? I don't want to curse or anything, but truly there's going to be a shit ton to deal with, like, for real. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's not just your personal stuff that's happening. This is worldly. Yeah. It's yeah. So this is what came out. This side up, which is how to use the deck. Yeah, it's going to reset our values. It was like hyphenated version, but it was facing to the right, which is more pronounced in Yang. So this deck is meant to nourish both sides of your wild and your grounded spirit in order to lead you to finding a way to live in harmony with the complex and beautiful desires of the heart. How to use this deck, ... Yeah, so we have, yeah, that's what it's. Okay, so looking at this, it's like, oh, look, the bottom of the deck, release. Okay, letting go. Okay, so right here, okay, this is like the final piece of it, okay, because we have the Four of Swords here. I was like, okay, that's great. That's healing, that's reflection, that's recuperating, that's your recoil, your chance to have your recoil for your like your true comeback. And then but then I saw the fifth one here. I was like, dang it, we still have the five of swords. But then I realized how they're standalone, even though they're on the same picture. Digesting the whole frame of mind here in, universal cosmic context, it is a Five of Swords, but it's like they're truths. It's like divided, right? So it's not segregated. Okay, so it's separated, but it's not segregated. So we've got the Four of Swords context here, as well as the Ace of Swords here, which is the smartest card in the deck, but that doesn't go without loss and survival and yeah, the full aspects of war. And yeah, that's what it has there. And the Ace of Pentacles here because that's more of earth energy and it's how it's becoming more rooted. But there's a sprout growing here. Oh, I have to tell you one last thing, okay? I tried to do a post this morning and it had to just know that the closer you are to that to big change, the more people want to throw you off your kilter. And some of you might not realize it yet, but it's done on an energetic level. There's many resistant to change, and so they throw out their energy during the full moon and new moon cycles, and the eclipses and all of that to manipulate energy. So these are my people. These may be people that you don't even know, that have a low sense of self-worth. So they invest their time into throwing, energy off that doesn't sit with them well, because that means that they need to change. Now, I feel like I'm already telling you what you already know, but in case there are others that are just starting out on this journey and coming to understand their power and, trying to figure out their place in all of this chaos, both locally and, cosmically speaking, I feel like that's worth conveying. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles here. There's some kind of last reference to like James and the Giant Peach here. Yeah, I feel like that is. I might have to look at that. Or, So anyway, I think that's it. Yeah. So it's really great because when we look at this, it's like our hands are tied and this is the only thing that we can do, right? Which is fine. It's something that we have to do. The things that we gotta do, we gotta do. But now they're not. That's the bottom of the deck. Our hands are not tied. We just need to release some things. Some things, some people, some habits, some, yeah. That is all, folks. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope to see you again. And I really hope that helped you, All right, thank you, angels. Thank you, guides. Thank you, Spirit, for the messages. And thank you, each and every one of you, for visiting and sitting through this, because it helps me practice with live energy. And obviously, while I'm conducting this, I realized that the ones that are present while I'm doing the reading, like even though this is a timeless reading, while you are present, it is the most potent kind because it's a direct connect. I don't know how else to describe this, but it's as though your guides, even if I don't ask them to, because you have the will, and mind you, this, okay, I have to tell you this, to beware, especially if you visit other psychics, okay, especially because I care about you, and I don't want you to go through the same BS that I had to go through, because it's unnecessary, okay? When you willingly sit in and put yourself through any kind of situation, it doesn't have to be at a psychic's level or whatever, you're automatically integrating your guides, okay? Your guides' energy is always going to be present with whatever you invest in. They're always there. They're the godlike presence of within your locality. They're specially designated to help you out. And all you have to do is ask for their help, but they're always there, like taking note of everything, kind of trying to send you messages, trying to, all of that. But when you sit down into another psychic's reading, I don't have to invite them in. My guides work with your guides. So it's like almost like a partnership for our best foot forward. They're trying to help mediate whatever conflict we're going through. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to work with live energies for this, because I was like, what the heck is it trying to tell me? I just see an alien like bleeding and in defeat. Yeah. Because I couldn't tell if the blood was coming from it or something that it was holding. But there's a lot of bloodshed there. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that, because people will take advantage of that. And the more you sit in on, to allow yourself to come across those discrepancies, the more like they're like, cords being like connected to you energetically, they're like hooks. Do you I don't know what to tell you this, but I feel energy, and I felt it physically when I sat down and talked to someone who was very ill. And I realized after stepping away that there was major bad juju going on there. So like I said, I wrote down a list of things like to watch out for, to beware of, because you need to protect your energy, and you can't rely on those tutorials online, because they have this pretty bow package. Like when you get messages, you get messages. Okay, I've seen people deliver messages in their shower cap or robe, and it's cute, because when it comes down to it, you know that there's a reality. When you get the messages, you go, you do it. Like, you handle your stuff. You don't your whole, like, make sure that, like, is the lighting okay? Do I have my eyelashes on? You don't do that. The real ones don't do that, okay? They stay true to the messages and the timing. So, anyway, thought I'd say thank you to your guides and thank them as well. That's it for now. Hope to see you again later, and have a good night. Bye.